Dope.
Everything's recording. So, welcome to San Diego, Taz.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
So, when I first met you, I think it was unique to everyone else because everyone first kind of just checks you out. You know, they look at you a little bit,
Yeah.
and I realized, I found that you just came in with a warm hug,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
I found that unique
absolutely.
about you. Is that something that you learned? Is that something that you've always been like?
Well, they say like first impression is everything, and how I think everybody has a version of them they want to portray to people, and oftentimes they get that a little skewed. They often will portray a version of them that they want to show them that isn't actually their true identity. It's kind of like through almost like a filter.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've kind of practiced a lot, and I want to, right when I meet you, to just lower our guard so we can actually communicate on a much better way. Yeah.
And I like that because I don't know about you, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs or young entrepreneurs specifically, they like to just get things done. And I think
Yeah.
that's like what separates them from everyone else when it comes
Yeah.
to just, getting stuff done, meeting people, and just, like kind of like on a fast clock to where you don't waste time and you just want to, make progress and whatever it is. And I like that about you.
Good.
I think
yeah.
we got to know each other pretty well, even in the first
Yeah.
30 minutes, hour.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I notice once again, like people, when they first meet, they have an impression that they want to show, and that's through a filter. And it's impossible to really get to know a person at the core unless you're able to remove that kind of filter and just lower your guard down.
And what
Yeah.
do you think that filter is? Like, what do you think sets it?
Yeah. What do you think? What do I think sense it?
Like, sets it? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. I believe that that's a great question, one that's tricky to answer. But we want to look good to others, right? That's like what we want to be. And that's all it is, really. Is me showing to you how you want to see me. That's what I'm trying to portray. However, it might not be in the most effective way because of the fact that there is a filter there and you're not able to see me without that filter, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's tricky, though.
And for you, were you always like a social guy, like always ready to like get rid of those boundaries, like
Yeah.
be,
That's good, interesting. So my whole life up until like 7th grade, I was always super shy. I would always cry in the principal's office before school. All of these things. I was so afraid of any human interaction. And that was because a few events that kind of escalate up that. I talk about this sometimes, but every single belief has a few different things to it. It has the initial event, okay? And then it has the result from that event. And then you have an identity reinforcement, which says, okay, this is who I am. Don't do that again. So let's say when I was going to play with some kids and then I got kicked in the face, my brain says, we're going to avoid that because I went up to the kids. We're going to avoid anything similar to that in the future, which also correlates to like avoid people because you're going to get hurt from that.
Yeah.
So once again, like you have an event and then you have an identity reinforcement, and then that goes on and goes on and goes on for the rest of your life and sets who you are, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you often reset that or change that for yourself? Like, is it something that you find pride in, like changing your identity, or do you feel like you kind of just melt into it?
Oftentimes we do default to that identity belief because it's so strong and it's happened so many times. However, if we're able as people to retrace when that event happened, why it happened, and understand that that's just one event and it doesn't have to dictate the result of our life, then that's when we're able to kind of remove ourselves from that identity reinforcement, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And something that I admire from you is you reached out to me and you're like, hey, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
You have cool stuff. I have cool stuff. Like, let's make it happen. And you're 18, right?
Yes, correct.
So, I mean, being 18, going from Portland, Oregon to, California, driving an hour and a half to San Diego to meet this guy to film a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the average 18-year-old would do that. So what got you here and what got you in that mindset where I'll just make it happen?
Well, I think that people who don't open doors for themselves, the doors don't really open for them. So I believe if you want something to move, right, speed moves. Speed is the quickest way to get anything done. And if you don't really attract that, then things don't move, things don't happen.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in like just raw action moves first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Figure out the rest later kind of deal.
Yeah, I really like how you said that. And my favorite quote is actually a mural or a painting on a wall from my mentor, Billy Jean.
Yeah.
And he's where I learned my marketing from. And it says, "Closed mouths don't get fed." And I think
Yes.
that's the biggest lesson that I've learned.
100%. Yeah.
that I think genuinely got me where I am today.
Yeah.
Because the first time I met him, I wasn't like pushing on, "Hey, teach me marketing." And first he didn't even reply.
Yeah.
And then I followed up again and then again. And every time that I message him or want to learn something new, he always ignores me because he wanted to teach me persistence. And that's something that he's always pushed onto me, because if you can't advocate for yourself or open those doors,
Yeah,
like you said,
absolutely.
then they'll just stay shut in your face.
I have a similar, my senior quote of the year, or my senior quote is, the answer is always no if you never ask. Answer is always going to be no if you never ask for something. Like yesterday, I got a free sandwich because I asked for it. Never would have happened. This would never happen if I didn't ask for it, right?
Yeah.
So I think those are kind of very correlated.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And for you, like you said, you're all about action, opening those doors, just action after action, don't think about it. Is there any fear within you that something won't go right and what comes after it?
That's interesting that you say that, because so many people have this idea associated around like, what if it doesn't work out? What if they judge me? Right? But what's interesting is they judge you both ways.
Yeah.
They judge you if you don't start a business. They judge you when you start a business. They judge you right here. I told my little cousin I was doing this. She was like, "That's so silly. That's so stupid. Why are you doing that? You're going to look so funny. How many viewers does this have?"
Yeah.
Right? And what's interesting is like the only people who really judge us are oftentimes the people closest to us in our lives.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the people who are random strangers kind of motivate us the most, because I don't actually know why, but
Yeah.
I've just noticed that.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm lucky that I never really paid much attention to.
Yeah.
But I found that when I first started doing marketing, all of my, my friends, or like even like their parents would be like, "Oh, you got into like a marketing scheme. You got into like one of those like pyramids
100%, yeah.
where like," and like in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, they might be right. But, I think it all came down to thinking about like no great thing comes overnight. And if I have to work towards it to one day reach where either my mentor is, or even
Yeah.
like people like Alex Hormozy too, I think it doesn't come overnight. And even my parents, like they are always like the traditional route where they just wanted me to go to college, because they never
Yeah,
went to
me
college.
too, yeah.
So they like they've always seen that as like the American dream. Like you go to college,
Yeah.
you'll be successful. And my sister, like she's crazy about school, like straight A's,
Yeah.
Ivy League, like this is my career.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, sure, I'll go to college, but it's not like my one goal. Like if you gave me the option, I'd say yes, but like I wouldn't trade it over business.
I think what they're trying to inflict on you is they're wanting to keep you safe, because they didn't actually take the risk of what you're doing. And that's unfamiliar to them. People often say this is scary, this is different, this is hard. What it is an unfamiliar feeling because we haven't been exposed. So maybe it's like it's mom's first time doing life too. It's mom's first time doing life too. So maybe she's wrong, along the line of risk. Like if we did what we're doing now and everything went to smoke, didn't work, didn't happen, where would we be? I think I would be better off by trying 4 businesses and failing at all of them than, spending 8 years trying to get a master's, trying to get a doctorate, whatever. And when you compare those two, it's like, where would I rather be?
Yeah.
For me, a college, on the same line of college, I look at, it's a very simple equation. I'm just going off on a riff here. I look at every single possible outcome of college after 3 months, after 10 years, after 20 years, and I correlate that with what I want. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's not what I want.
Yeah. I think that's one of the hardest things to explain to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's the number one hardest thing when they're like, "Why are you spending so much time on this?" And like for my sister, like she's very supportive. I think she's in your grade, so same
Yeah.
age. but she'll always make fun of me. No hard feelings, but like she's like, you started all these businesses and like they went nowhere. Like why is yours different now? And to me, it's like, okay, but I started all of these, which led to this one thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not one who's like very vocal about like, I'm making this, like I'm making X amount, I'm doing these things. But I think that's one thing that I've liked to keep to myself, just because like I know like the growth is there, and I'd rather other people see like where I've gotten to through either my content, like who I am as a person, and what I'm like onto, like what I'm up to.
Yeah, people will judge you all the work until you make it and it looks like overnight success. And they're like, wow, you got so lucky. But they didn't see the work under the cover, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what maybe you're describing, which is like people closest to us will judge us the most, and just a lot of people will just judge you. But once you make it, it looks like overnight success, and then that flips the script, and it's like, wow, I love what you're doing. I want to be your friend, all this stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And
which is tricky.
For you, did it happen to you where when you first got started, like everyone kind of just like was like, you mentioned this, like people like always support you, like, oh, like go, whatever. But then you start making it a little bit, and then people kind of go silent. And then you start showing that progress or like that success. Then they want to know how you did it, and like they'll reach out. And
Yes.
I've been lucky that no one's been like a giant hater, like, you
Yeah,
know. And
me
I'm
too.
happy when someone reaches out. Like I've had friends who are like, or classmates who are like, hey, how'd you do this? Like I want to get into like either a business, I want to start like a side hustle. Like, can you teach me? And, like I'm happy to give them resources and obviously walk them through it, but it's like something that comes after, and I think it brings you like, I wouldn't even say pride, but I think it's, you kind of see the reality of who actually, I guess the easiest way is like who messes with you,
Yeah.
and also like who's
Who's there for the long ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like like a true friend is somebody who's there for the ride, ups and downs, roller coaster of life, and not at one peak, right? This is kind of like the train analogy where somebody will board your train of life and then they might get off on a station, or you might drop them off on a station, not because they're bad, but just because you've moved on from them. That's totally fine. Yeah, that's an interesting point you bring up, though. I like that.
And for you, what was your first business that you started? And where were you in life? How old were you? Like, what did that look like?
That's good. Okay, first like official business, or first like, side hustle kind of deal.
I think side hustle like counts because like that's where you first start learning.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, probably selling rocks, like door to door, selling rocks.
Really?
When I
Like
was-
painted or
No, just rocks off the ground.
really?
Yeah, I mean it. And what that taught me is because I would knock probably 300 doors, and every one of them was a no, right? What that taught you is the rejection handling, which is all life is, which is all sales is, right?
Yeah.
When we're able to take 100 slams doors in a row and keep going, that's what the dream is, you
Yeah.
know? But realistically is window cleaning.
Yeah.
I was working, I'll just give you this story real quick. So I worked like 3 jobs, golf cart, grocery store, and then a sandwich shop. And then for the whole summer, like here and there. And then I saw these guys on YouTube cleaning windows with a squeegee, knocking on doors. Next day I tried it. Picked up a squeegee at a gas station, picked up some Dawn dish soap, and then I just knocked the doors. Same thing as before, except different vehicle to do that. And I made the same amount of money as I did the past month in a day. So they call it the Mardi Gras moment, where it's like, what am I doing? This is insane. Let's just make the pivot. So I guess that was the moment.
And I like how you said you just picked up, a squeegee at the gas station, got some Dawn dish soap, and got started. Because I
That's
think
the action, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's the best way to get started. Because I think that so many people try to get something perfect and they want to be pros, but they haven't even taken the first step. And you can't get somewhere
Yeah.
without actually experiencing it. And I think the best way to actually get to where you want to be is like not fake it till you make it, but be in the same room or throw yourself into battle
100%,
to
yeah.
where you actually find success. It's like when I started marketing, it's a completely different like industry to what I thought I was getting into to now, because before I thought it was just make a video, throw it onto Facebook ads library, and like you're done. You're a marketer, and you can sell it to businesses. But now it's like, okay, you have to track all these numbers. You have to track how much money they're making. You have to track how much is the cost per leads, how many
Yeah.
leads are coming to specific for specific reasons. And it's stuff that I never thought was even necessary. But when I got some mentorship from my mentor, then he was like kind of giving me a reality check where I would send him the reports like, oh, like I sent these reports and it's like a whole page of it. And he's like, you got the right idea, but you're missing all of this. And then it's like, I can't even make that happen. Like
Yeah.
it's a big business. They don't have like these to track it. Like I can't track these numbers. And he's like, make it happen. Like that's your job. So I think that's like when I realized that it's like a completely different game to when you get started. And I can imagine now, like you understand window cleaning, like it's the back of your hand. Like you know what to do when you have to do screens. You know what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to use to do specific things.
Yeah.
And like, what do you think about that to when it comes to starting a business? Like, do you think they should take a month, 2 months to research it and like try to understand it, or just jump right in?
Once again, like this is a great setup, great studio, great lighting, 3 camera angles, fancy saxophone. But people are going to want to get that first, is what you're saying. And you don't get better by doing that. You get better by picking up the camera and clicking record, right? That's it. If you have a camera, you have a podcast.
Yeah.
Really? Like that's it. So I think what you're going along the lines of this is like exposure, getting in the rooms, seeing what's actually out there and scaling your way up what you've deemed as possible and what you've seen as possible, which are 2 very different things. Because the law of exposure states once you've seen something, you can't unsee it. So when you see a new standard that your mentor showed you, you can never default to a lower standard because you've seen what's possible. Yeah.
And you mentioned, I think, the complete opposite of my experience with business, because you said that you had the experience of doing window cleaning, and then in one day or a week you made what you made in a month doing
Yeah.
your regular job.
Yeah.
But for me, it was actually the opposite, because I found that I was doing so much work just because I was learning new things. And then with ads, I would do video editing, because I've never been someone that likes to half-ass things. Like I like to go full on, figure it out to what I can do my best on it.
Mm-hmm.
So even now I feel like I'm making less and I would be doing hourly. But how was that for you? Like, did you ever experience where you feel like you're doing more work than a regular job making the same amount? And like, what do you think that
Yeah.
leads to?
Oh, well, it's tricky. It's a tricky calculation or equation with anything where you sell something, because of the fact that it is, people might deem it as a risk or something, but sales is guaranteed if you know how people operate, if you know how to talk to people. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm getting. And by doing that, it kind of is a guarantee. But I definitely agree. Like so many entrepreneurs tell a similar story of yours, where it's you have to be able to do, a year in the dark before you see any success, right? Which is maybe on similar lines what you're describing. And I think that's absolutely true. The only difference is that I was lucky and I found a business model that was really easy to repeat, really easy to sell, and just worked. Simple. The best business is the one that has the least moving parts, the least complex, right? Because it's going to run without you being there.
Yeah. And what's your mindset on switching niches and moving along with like the markets? Because you said you're doing lights now, like setting up the lights, like the permanent lights.
Yeah.
Like, what's your thoughts on like being very like flexible and moving to window cleaning, to doing some of this stuff,
Yeah.
to lights? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I think you need to be stubborn to a degree, because if you've seen a restaurant that serves anything, they don't serve one thing good, right? You can't have everything, all the food groups, and do one of them well, right? I think you need to narrow it down and be stubborn. However, when the market shifts, you need to have a little bit of flexibility to shift with it. Otherwise, you're going to get left in the dust.
Yeah.
And you've seen this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right? So what we just did is like we took, okay, it snows. It's hard to sell window cleaning in the snow. So we have to pivot because the market's moving. People are in a buying state. What are they looking for? They're looking for lights. Here's the problem. every year somebody pays for lights to put up. It's like $1,000 each year. Put it up, take it down. We solve that problem. 3 years you'd be saving. There's the problem. There's the issue. What you sell is not the product. You sell the result of the product. So I think everybody needs to absolutely ingrain this in their skull that we don't sell window cleaning. We sell like customer service. We sell a customer relationship. We sell peace of mind. We sell a clear view. We sell a clean mind. You're selling the result of the thing, not the thing.
Yeah. I think that's for all industries too.
Yes.
Like what you just said.
100%.
And I think that's what I struggled first, because when I first started cold calling, I was 15, and I'd be talking about,
That's
hey,
great.
we can do marketing, we can do this, and then they would hang up on you because you're not saying exactly what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about results. That's what they want. And if you can't tell them a
Yeah.
specific number or a range of you're going to make this much back,
Yeah.
then you're basically gone there. And I think that's why all successful either marketing agencies, video agencies that make, 6 figures, 7 figures a year, because they can give you a guarantee of you'll make X amount or else you don't pay.
Yeah, I don't care. If I'm going to take somebody's coaching, I do not care about what's in it. I just care about getting the result. I do sales coaching for some people, and it's interesting. One guy literally told me on the call, he was like, that seems really simple. And like, yeah, it's supposed to be simple. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I like simple. I like quick. I like to do things like that. Yeah. And if they have an idea of like value equals complexity, but that's a skewed value, right? Yeah. If I can get you a result, which has been proven, if I can get this person a result, why should they care about how it's done?
Yeah.
If it's ethical, obviously.
That's one big thing with the marketing business right now, because there's so much AI that's being used for it. And I was using it last night. Like I pay for the premium version because it's just so helpful. And I think one thing that someone pointed out to me once was, what's your job really if you're using AI to write these ads for you or write these scripts or these emails for you?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's, if ChatGPT can write this email better than me, then why would I do it? If I can save myself an hour to writing an email and make it 20 times better, then why should I do it? So if you can use tools to make something great, then why not using them? Like, why not use them to your advantage and to give better results? And I was writing this essay I'm applying to the summer program, and it says, what's your thoughts on AI and using it ethically? And I started talking a little bit about my business and how I use it. And when it comes to being ethical, I think if you're just straight up with your clients and you say, hey, I'm using AI, then if they're seeing results, I don't see a single reason why they would be mad. And I've had no one be upset with it and also encourage it, actually, to using AI to give them better results. And that's exactly what you should be doing. If you're in any industry and you can use AI, then 100% recommend it.
That's an interesting point. If I was getting coaching from you, or let's say, I guess 2 people, and I had the option of picking this person or this person, and this person acted like they know it all, they're the best in the world, and this person acted like, I have a lot to learn, I'm invested in myself, I go to all these conferences, I have 10 coaches, obviously I'm going to pick the one who actually understands that he doesn't know it all. Yeah. And he's invested in himself versus the person who says they know it all. So I think that's very similar. Like, it'd be silly for a company to go with somebody who did it the raw way and didn't believe they had room to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gold.
When it comes to communication for you, when it comes to communication with clients, when it comes to, feedback from them, how are you about that? Like, because I feel like some people, I haven't seen it very much in business, but you give someone feedback and they're quick to fire back and say, no, I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
When someone gives you feedback, they say, whether it's in your sales business, in your window cleaning, what's always your first reaction to being given feedback?
Well, this goes back to the identity that I want to show to you. When you say something that offends my identity, I'm gonna back me up, right? And what that does is it doesn't allow me to understand what you're saying. Yeah. So if you say something to me and I'm like, no, this is who I am. I'm this because of this. I'm just giving an excuse to why I am the way I am and not fully understanding it. What I have to do and what we have to do as people is surrender to our identity. And that's the only way then we're going to be able to receive what the person is trying to tell us. Because if we have our guard up, it's impossible to receive. I have a really good friend who is impossible. He doesn't receive anything. His guard is up. His ego guard, same thing, right? It's impossible to drop it. It's not impossible because I haven't been exposed how to do that. That's what I'm working on though.
I like that.
Yeah, but I think in business, if that's what you're going along with, is are you thinking more like me taking constructive criticism or me giving it?
I think you taking, because I think everyone at one point or another is told like, hey, like you're messing up here. Hey, you're not doing this.
Yeah.
Like for you, I mean, window cleaning. I know there's someone who said, hey, you didn't do this right.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you've done it for a year or two. So what's like your first reaction to that feedback?
My first reaction is like, I don't even have a reaction because my shoulders have already dropped. That's it. People don't have a reaction to things if they're already prepared for the reaction, right? It's not like a shock. It's not like, whoa, what? What do you mean by that? If you're already like, okay, you know? Like, if somebody says, like, we messed up their house, I'm just going to be like, okay, show me what you want. We'll make it right. Boom. Like, no sweat. So I think how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
Meaning how you gosh, what's the word? How you like talk to yourself is how you talk to others. If I want to learn how to influence other people, I need to learn how to influence me. If I want to learn how to have a better relationship with my wife, with my girlfriend, I actually need to know how to love myself better.
Yeah. And I think that's something that all entrepreneurs need to learn at one point or another, because it's going to bite them, you know?
Yeah.
Come bite them at some point. And I've been lucky to, I mean, I think we're in a very fortunate position we're on the younger side because people expect us to mess up.
Yeah.
To like a certain degree.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it's like, I think the best example is like giving the reports. Like I was missing 5 different numbers that I should have given. Like, this is what this costs. This is what this costs. This is how many people are getting in per day. And it's something that I just wasn't tracking. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to say like, okay, I'll fix it in the next day. Like I'll get it done. And they'll be like, okay, well, let's fix that. So I think that kind of leads to a question that I've had in the back of my head for a while for you. And it's, do you think that it's better that you're on the younger side starting business, like your own company, sales, you know, improving yourself? Or do you think it's better that you start later in life when you're already more experienced and know a lot more?
Not at all. Once again, back to risk, right? If we do all this and by the time we're 30, we don't have anything, we're broke, homeless, like, I know me. If I did that, I would be so content with myself because I'd known, and I'd be so proud of myself than if I'd gone the traditional route. Because they did a study with like 100, like 80, 90-year-olds, and the most common thing they said was like, I regret not doing this. I regret not taking the risk there. I regret not skydiving. And I know that if I did the traditional route or started later, that I would regret not taking a risk there. And the whole goal is to be content with your decisions and just know that's who I am. That's what I did. I'm proud of that. And that's it, regardless of the result. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't correlate. Yeah.
And I know I'm emphasizing a lot of failure right now, but it's because I want younger listeners to like take away the fear of this isn't going to work. It's going to mess up. You know, I'm going to lose all my money. But what do you think is the best thing about failure?
Well, I think when you hit failure, like this is really cliche, but like more is learned in failure. Let's just say that. You learn, the only time when learning is really done is like when you experience the failure of something, because you literally know not to do that thing again. So I think failure is a gift, and if we learn to appreciate and embrace failure, then then the failure itself is gonna be the treat.
Yeah. Which
is interesting, because a lot of people think like success is the treat, and that's what we're all rooting for. But if we learn to appreciate like the journey, once you get the sports car, it's only fun for 2 days, and then it's your life, right? But the years you spent working for the sports car, that's where the treasure is.
Yeah. And coming off of that, I think the way that I've always seen failure as is I like to put a number on it sometimes. So my first business was like a greeting card business, went nowhere. But then I had a clothing business, and I still wear my shirts today. Like,
Is that it?
No, this is a separate
Okay.
one. But yesterday I was actually wearing my own shirt
Yeah.
that I made. I had them manufactured in China. I made my own designs. I had like specific like cut and sew, custom tags, and I spent a long time on it. And I spent I think $900 on it in seventh grade, making a bulk order, and that was like my first big like purchase. I think that was like the most amount of money I've ever spent. And everyone was telling me like, don't do it. Like my mom was like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like that's just random.
Yeah.
But I just did it. And I didn't know anything about marketing at the time. I didn't know anything about demand. I just did it. I thought it was going to be cool. And it went pretty much nowhere. Like I sold, I think, most of my inventory to friends. A lot of it I just gave away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I made maybe half of what I spent. And to me, when I look at it now, that's the moment that I realized that marketing is the one thing that sets apart a business that never works and one that works. Because if you have the best product, you have the best window cleaning on earth, if no one knows about it, then you can't sell it. And like you said, the answer is always no if you don't ask.
Yeah.
So I think marketing is just a way to always ask people, they're scrolling on Instagram, ask them to buy. So I think to me is I see failure in that specific scenario as, okay, it cost me $450 to know that marketing is a route, and I've made that, God knows how many times back going into that.
And here's the thing when persuading people and persuading ourselves is what's the cost of you not doing that?
Yeah.
Right? What would you pay now to know the information? If I think of it this way, somebody just gave me this example. If I lost all my knowledge, what would I pay to get it back? That's a big number, right? Because like that's and if we don't often trace our internal value as that, but when we do, we like that's great. We appreciate ourselves more. We're gravitating around business right now. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. But recently, I've been taking my foot off the gas from like money. Like last year, I set a monetary expectation for myself. Did not make it. Like it's not. I want to channel in more around like how people work. Like that's my wah kind of deal. Is like I got exposed to this guy Michael Burnoff this year, and he just changed my whole perception of how I see business, how I see people, how I interact with me. And it's the idea that like if I want one thing, I don't get the thing by working on it. I get it by working on a practice that's going to get me the thing in as a side effect.
Yeah.
Basically. So if I want to and most of this roots down to communication. Because if I have an ice cream sundae, and this is cliche once again, but if I have an ice cream sundae and I say, I love this thing, I just love this ice cream sundae. If I change my language to, I enjoy this ice cream sundae, but it's a yeast infection in my stomach, like, I want to choose the language that's going to serve me.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to gravitate around more this next year.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to stay on the topic of like sales and business. I want to talk about like people.
Yeah.
Because that's all sales and business is.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's something that I've struggled with. And I was, last week I was told by my mentor, like, you do everything really well. Like your ads are performing, like you're getting great costs for it. Your videos, they're killer, but you just suck at sales. And like, I love how he's just straight up with me. Like he's this, 40-year-old dude, like knows what he likes, and I think that's what set him apart in the industry. But he's very like, okay, this is what you need. But he told me during the summer, you're going to come like work with us. You're just going to learn sales. But I think that's one thing that I've always struggled with is forming words the right way, like you just said, like where like I can tell someone like, okay, I can make you money. But then it's like, do you believe me? Like, does it sound like great?
I don't. Yeah.
But if you like, if you found a way to say it, like if you just said that right now, but in a better way, then it's a lot more convincing. But I just struggle with that.
It's interesting. Yeah.
So that's one thing that like I definitely need to work on when
Yeah.
it comes to.
100%. Once again, it's how we do one thing is how we do everything. So if we understand our own internal communication better, we understand everybody's own internal communication better. And if I can speak to your internal communication, then you're going to make the right decision for you. And I'm just leading you to it.
Yeah.
That breaks the whole sales resistance, right? All of this is like from Michael Burnoff kind of stuff. Do you know who this guy is?
Not Michael.
Okay.
No.
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's great because you'll get to meet him someday. He's a G. Yeah.
But like kind of what you're saying there, I guess the solution that I found is whenever I'm doing like any meetings with potential clients is I let them talk most of the time. Like I like to just ask them questions because I know that if I just keep talking, I just like mix up their minds. I just stir them. And I'm someone who's like very direct. And it's not always the best thing where I'm just direct. Like I used to not be like that. I used to be like very like sugarcoating everything, like nice to like just try to be like the sweetest person ever. But I don't know why I just changed to like being very direct. And like people know that like I'm not like a bad person. I'm not mean, like not in a mean way.
Yeah.
But I'm very like direct with my words. So when it comes to telling people, okay, these are the numbers, this is not doing well, this is what we need to do, I'm very direct when it comes to that. And I think that's one thing that I either need to fix or change or use in a better situation to where it benefits me and kind of fixes it. Because I found that like the way you are able to like work your words are a lot more easy to understand, a lot more entertaining, and I think a lot more inspiring when it comes to.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never really traced that back, but I think that's one thing that I worked a lot on this year. Just literally retracing every single word that comes out of your mouth. Like this podcast, I'm going to watch it back 5 times. And I'm going to find everywhere I slipped, everywhere I didn't communicate like respectfully, every time I stuttered or mixed a word. And I'm going to like constructive criticism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the best close is this. It's just silence, right? Yeah. If we just fill all our ums and uhs with just a pause, when I pause, it allows you to receive what I just told you. But if I keep talking about my day and this microphone, how it's like there's actually 2 microphones on it, and over there's a computer, like it's hard to pick up on all that because it's just blah 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 word vomit, right? So maybe that's something to tweak. I don't know. I haven't seen you. I haven't been exposed to you that much, but maybe that's something I just picked up here.
Yeah. Like for me, I struggled a lot with when I first started making my videos. I'd make like 3-minute long videos, like on Reels. And if you look back to like my first sit down videos, it's just long. I'm just talking, and I'm saying stuff that like I still follow to this day. But I'm just saying it in like the most complicated way ever, just trying to sound like I know it's like more than I do. But I found that now I just like to put it as simple as possible, but I don't do that in a way where people can understand it and visualize themselves in that position. I kind of just say it from my own perspective rather than looking at their perspective, if that makes sense.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I literally think right now, right here, right now, especially in the first however long we've been doing this, half hour, I was trying to say things that sound good, but they don't really make sense. And like, when I say, does that make sense? We nod our heads because we don't want to look bad. But realistically, it doesn't really make sense, a lot of the stuff I'm saying, because it's the first time I've said it also.
Yeah.
A lot of what I say, I don't fully understand. It might not be true, but it's what I believe to be true, and I'm going to preach that.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky line from talking the talk and walking the walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think something that we talked about earlier when we first met, you mentioned that talk the talk and, you don't walk the walk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something that is important for everyone to do is, I guess it can be controversial, but like fake it till you make it. Because if you want to do, window cleaning, it's not something that you can, just know overnight. And like you can't really practice that. Like you can't, it'd be just, out the ordinary if you go sit down and practice
I was
it.
just talking to my uncle, like, what made Tony Robbins Tony Robbins? And it's just that, like, he acted like Tony Robbins for a long enough time span till he was Tony Robbins. And now he is Tony Robbins, right? But what made him that, who knows? I guess he just did it and did it and did it and preached that identity to where that's who he was.
Yeah.
So if I form an identity around who I want to be, I'm going to be a lot closer to who I want to be.
I think one thing that I've kind of just recently realized about myself. So I grew up, with immigrant parents. Grew up, honestly very poor. Living on Section 8 housing, and it all changed when I was in 6th grade. My dad had his company. We were very fortunate to now be in a good position, but because of that, like I grew up. Christmas, you can't really, I never really had anything I asked for.
Yep.
But I always understood it. But I realize that now I'm kind of feeding my younger self onto who I want it to be. And I know back then I loved Supreme. Like, I don't know if you know the brand Supreme.
Yeah, I do.
I loved it. I always wanted, the shirts and stuff. And I found that once I started fitting into myself, I had my identity. Okay, I'm a marketer now. And then, okay, I'm making, some money off of this. I'm investing into some of my equipment. I'm buying cameras. I'm becoming who I am. I found that slowly I started reaching back into those identities to become who I am today. And like now my sister was telling me the other day, she's like, remember back then, like you always wanted like these things and like now you have like a rack full of them. And then she's like, and a lot of people think like you're spoiled. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like, I guess I am. But I was like, every single thing I bought myself. She's like, that's true. She's like, you're spoiled, but like you spoil yourself.
Yes.
And I think it's not something that's like something to be proud about because I guess like buying stuff isn't like your best investment. But I think I've always looked at it where I invest 80% of my money and 10% is invested into either equipment, whatever it may be. And then that 10%, I like to just buy whatever I want. And it's something that it's like a really random topic, but do you feel like you also reach back to your old identities where, you want to fill in like who you want it to be to like now?
While we're on the topic of New Year's, I've made a video for the past several years where I am. So next year, I made a video like 2 days ago about, hey, Taz, I want to show you where I am right here, right now. Same thing 2 years ago. It's not that far, but whatever. And I'm exactly where I want to be, which is crazy because I couldn't really fathom it when I was at that point. But like looking back, like life is good. I don't know. I'm not nearly done with anything, just getting started. I'm like 2 years in, I don't know how long you are in. But really I haven't even gotten started anything. So like your question about retrieving what I wanted in the past and feeding myself that thing, I think has actually warped, and I think warps a lot of people because what they think they want and what they want when they've made it are two very, very different things, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
May not be, may be.
Yeah.
For me, I think it is a little bit different because my priorities shift, who I think I am shifts, like what I want shifts.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, if I wanted Supreme, then I would think that, but maybe now I don't care about material things, right? Yeah. I just want to wear shorts and a t-shirt. Like I want that to be my brand.
Yeah.
And I want this to be my brand, right? So I don't know. It's interesting. This year, okay, this is interesting. I used to be, you're 16, I'm 2 years old. Are you 16?
I just turned 17
okay,
like 2 weeks ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So I always used to be just focused on like, okay, grind, business, okay, that's it. Money in is a business, money in. I don't know. Once again, I've taken the foot off the gas and I'm more focused on just spreading those apart and like, who am I? Like I did an exercise where I look at a picture of myself and I asked like, I want to get to know this guy better. Because I hadn't really met him yet.
Yeah.
And that was like a big moment. Because, like, I didn't actually know who I was, and I still don't really. I think a lot of young men today are lost on who they are, where their purpose is.
Yeah. I think I completely relate with that. So my whole life I've grown up, very chubby. I got really, really fat. A year and a half ago, I was extremely overweight, and I took a step back. Like, who do I want to be? And it's been really hard to look back to where I was even a year ago to where I am now, because I look completely different. Like, people don't even recognize me. But then I just saw a video of me a year and a half ago when it was 12:30 at night, and I'm working on marketing. I just turned on my phone camera, flipped it around, and was recording on like what I'm doing. I was in like a grateful mood. Like, I'm grateful to be able to work right now. And I was in that moment proud of myself for working at 12:30 at night.
Yeah.
And now it's just like that's just like
It's who you are.
yeah, it's like normal. And like I'll work till like 4 a.m. and then, get up at 7 the next day. So for me, it's like you kind of keep evolving to what seems crazy a year ago now is like your norm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's who you are and like who you began to be to where you want to be.
Because once again, you got exposed to something that you didn't think was possible in the past. When we see something and when we're put in a place where there's a new standard, we're not going to go back. We're not going to spring back to our old standard because we've found a new one.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing that you just brought up there, because when I see where I am in the future is something that I've set, right? But 2 years from now, that might be totally different.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
And could you tell me some more about how you shifted monetarily with that mindset? Because that's something that I think I struggle with.
Yes.
Because
yeah,
like my sister was telling me 2 days ago, my dad was telling me 2 days ago, he's like, all you think about is money. And for me, it's like, okay, I grew up, fairly poor.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always been like, I've been uncomfortable like asking for things. So I love now that I can get my own things, and I haven't even asked for something like in a really long time. But for me, it's like, okay, this is one of the most important things, because I physically watched how much life improved from no money to having some money. And it's been something that like no one else can experience unless they've been in the same position. So like, I'm never embarrassed to say like for me, a marker for success is, okay, I'm making more money. But at the same time, it's, okay, I'm also providing more value, but that's because with more value comes more money.
Yes.
So for you, what like shifted like your mindset? Because I think I want to, and I definitely should shift my mindset from just being, okay, I'm making more
100%.
money. This
It's interesting you bring it up. When you're deprived of something, that's when you notice the most. We don't notice the oxygen in this room right now. We take it for granted. But if you remove it, that's all we're gonna think about, right? So I think the point is when we have enough of something, we don't actually appreciate it. Like, here is the best climate in the world. That's what they say. I live in Portland, Oregon. It's like shittest climate in the world. Yeah. Are we allowed to say shit here?
Yeah.
It's the first thing I've said. Okay. And when I notice sun, I appreciate it so much, because all I've been exposed to is clouds and rain.
Yeah.
But when people here are exposed to sun, it's like whatever, right?
Yeah.
I still think that so many people, and I still think like my dream life requires a lot of money, so much more than I can fathom now. It really does. Yeah. So I do think that associating monetary with success is not necessarily a bad thing, because in a lot of ways it is for a lot of people, and it's a motivator to get there. However, reason why I've taken the foot off the gas is because this year I got exposed to something that I've never been exposed to before, which is knowing who I am at a core, and the fact is I didn't love myself, right? And this is really vulnerable, but like that's something that so many young men especially struggle with, is like they don't love themselves.
Yeah.
So like that's where my journey has started for this next year, is like I have enough money to just live for whatever, because my lifestyle doesn't require a lot of money now. Yeah. So I don't need money. And what's going to be more valuable than money right now is knowing who I am and loving me.
Yeah.
So it's where your priorities at. What does the money give you? Once again, in sales, what's the result of the thing?
Yeah.
What's the result of the money? Because that's what you're actually craving.
Yeah. I think it comes from like two different places. So number one, it's like comfort. So I don't ever want to say that I was never in an uncomfortable position growing up, because I had everything that I needed. You know, my parents were there. I had always had food on the table. Like I've never been like, you know, on the streets. I can never say that. But I never thought that, you know, having like nice things or other stuff was not a luxury, because I always grew up around that. But then so I got a scholarship to a private school, and my whole like just perspective changed, because kids had, you know, ton of money. Some kid was talking about his grandpa's private jet. You know, he has, you know, some crazy cars. So my friends already are 13 years old, have, you know, hundreds of $1,000s in trust funds, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just like, that's not real. I thought that was like in the movies. I thought that was like jokes. But it was not only just like comfort of like, I want to do this for my future and like my future family, but also like opportunity. So my first camera, I worked all summer for. My grandma bought it for me, because she was the one who could, you know, make that happen. And from that, I just grinded. And then for me, it was, okay, if I want to do, you know, like a podcast, okay, then you need money to get either, you know, a microphone, or like now I've noticed that you don't need it. Like as long as you have a phone, then you can do it. But for me, I've always been someone who's just like wants the best quality. And that's not like I wouldn't say that's a great thing, but for me, it's been money equals comfort, opportunity, and I think that's basically like a good way to summarize it for me on where I saw it at that position. But now it just like is evolving to where, okay, I'm doing this. I'm doing some abnormal stuff as a 17-year-old. But like now I'm just kind of like wrestling with, what does it mean to get.
Once I recently got exposed, once again, but money is kind of like an illusion of something. Like it's not real. It's just a number on a screen. And it's, if something's not real, like I notice everybody in the world is working for something that's not real. It's not tangible. It's just an illusion of something that's like, I'm going to give you a number on a screen and you're going to build me a house. Yeah. Okay? That's skewed. I don't know what it is, and it's scary, because that's the world we live in. But I think that your network, people always say like your network is your network. And I truly believe that knowing people will cover your lifestyle in a way, not by that money will give you, but just by soul opportunity and like things, just like taking care of you, right?
Yeah.
Which is something like networking can be a job. Networking is like what I want to do, pretty much. Yeah. I just want to connect people.
And I'm curious, so you said that like for your dream lifestyle, it's like a number you can't even fathom.
Yes.
But what does that life look like for you? So say you are, at least for me in my head, like I know I want to have the lifestyle that I want by 25, 30. So what's that age for you, and what does that look like?
Well, I'm going to be very careful here, because I could say, you know, I want a Porsche, I want a Ferrari, I want a private jet, I want a mansion. But once again, I want the result of the thing, which is freedom of mind, freedom that I think what I want and I say what I want and I preach what I want and I believe what I want, congruency, and then also like freedom of travel. I can just go whatever I want, I just wear whatever I want, I just am what I want. And that's hard to get. But money is one of the things that gets you freedom to travel, pretty much. So that's what's like the real result of that.
Now that you mentioned that, one thing that I was curious to hear from you is, how do you see your self-branding, and how have you tried, or how have you stood out from everyone else?
Well, so far on Instagram, I haven't, right? Because a lot of what it is just like looking at what other people are doing and then just hearing it and like just copy and pasting, right? Which is not authentic. So So I don't think I have stood out. I mean, obviously the fact that we're young, the fact that we're doing crazy things, that stands out alone, right? The fact that you invest in yourself, once again going back to people who judge you, every single time I invest into a plane ticket to go to a networking conference or a seminar or some event, some mastermind, everybody's like, "What are you doing? That's a stupid idea." It's literally stupid. Versus the people who have the life I want are like, "Go start that business. Do that thing. Take the risk," right?
Yeah.
It's only the people who aren't where we want to be who judge us the most.
Yeah. For you personally, what was your parents' reaction to
Oh, this is
your
good.
first business?
This is great. So obviously, similar to yours, traditional route. We're told as little kids, you go to school, you sit still, you go to college, you get a job, 9 to 5, and you do that for a few years. You buy a house, buy a family, and then you die. I said buy a family. You don't buy a family, and you have a family, and then you die. Right? That's kind of like the set of parameters. Right? What are parameters? Parameters. I'm running a keynote right now. This is what I'm going to say. Parameters are a set of borders that you have to operate within. These are set not by me. They're set by what I've been exposed to by other people are inflicting on me. By what other people are inflicting on me. So when they set these parameters for my life, here's what you do, here's the standard, here's this, here's that. That's all they've been exposed to. When I put myself and open my own door, I see what's possible that they haven't seen. So I now just got exposed to something that they haven't seen before. And once again, when I preach that to them, that builds so much resistance because their job is to protect me. Their job is to keep me safe. They deem that as risky because they haven't been exposed. They don't know that before. They haven't done that. We don't do that. That's what they tell us. Our family does that. Our family doesn't do that. We don't do that. Don't do that. That's not what people do. People go to college and that's how they get successful, right? That's all they've been exposed to. So I think this all comes down to the law of exposure.
I think I had a very similar experience to that, like basically the same, where it's, most Hispanic families, it's like, you work a job,
Yeah.
and specifically for my case, it's, okay, you go to school, we want you to go to college, then you're going to get a 9 to 5 job, have a family, live happily ever after. But to me, that just sounds so boring. And it always, it sounds like nasty to me. And I know I want to have a family one day, but I never want to just like settle in one place. Like I know I want to be like all over the place, experience. And I think that's something that my dad has just been like, do what you want. Like if you don't want to go to college, like do what you want.
Yeah.
But like don't come to like us and like say like,
Yeah.
oh, like it's your fault. He's like, you can do what you want. He's like, I'll support you 100%. Like he's like, I want you to be successful, but just do it 100%. My mom's been like, no, you're gonna stay in school, which I'm not gonna drop out or anything, but like you said, like someone who's done it before is just like go 100%. And for me, so my mentor had like a job opening for a social media manager, and he called me up for like a different reason, and he was like, are you still in school now? He's like, because you're a senior now, like a senior, right? I was like, no, I'm still a junior. I still got a few years, 2 years. He was like, damn. He's like, because I totally give you the job. He's like, but that's just honestly not a conversation I'm ready to have with your mom, because it's like a full time.
Yeah.
Like, and even he knows that, like, it's not easy to tell like the average person who doesn't have, multi-million-dollar company that like your son is gonna do like some crazy stuff. And it was a crazy experience to be offered something like that, because it's a number that like you never even thought was possible.
Yeah.
Until like, you got your master's degree.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that was a very fortunate event, because it not only showed me, but also my mom, because I told her about it, that like marketing like is a real career. And like I've been told, I don't know if this happened to you, but even like we were at the dinner table, like my parents telling me like choose like a plan B. So if I go to college, and I guess when I go to college, I want to study marketing and business. And to them, they were like mad about that. They're like, choose a plan B, because what if marketing just disappears? But then to me, it's like, okay, what if any other industry disappears? And am I going to be happy in those industries? So like, I'll go to college, I'll study what I want to. And then it's like, okay, now my grandma's talking to me, like, choose another industry, choose something else, because that's not a real job. but then like you're able to show them, okay, now this is a real job.
Yes.
They get offered that.
Yeah,
like,
they need some proof of concept once
Yeah.
again. Like even to this day, it's so ingrained in their skull that that's how people make it. They go to college, they do the thing. I've shown them the proof of concept. They know I'm not going to college. They still want me to, though, similar to your mom, right?
Yeah.
It's mom's first time doing life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's tricky. It's really tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I've gotten annoyed a lot by it.
Yeah.
So many people do. And once again, who are closest to us affect us the most, hold us back the most. It's like chains.
Yeah.
Which is the most drastic way of putting it. But once again, we want to choose our language very carefully. And when we use words like I called myself stupid yesterday in front of my grandma, and she was like, "Don't use that word. Can't you use something else? I don't want to say that in this house." And it's like, no, because I choose the language very carefully. That's a word that's going to negatively affect me. Negative affections make us do something more than a positive action, result. People will always run away from pain faster than they run towards pleasure. Same thing, right?
And as you mentioned that, what are your friendships like? And have you been fortunate to have like support by them? And I think close friendships are a million times different than even slightly farther friendships. So
Yeah.
how has that been for you?
Yeah. So I have, I have one guy, and that is that, which is so hard to find. I mean, gosh, as lucky, you feel like you just won at life when you find this person. But this is like your 3 a.m. friend, right? They don't question it. They just do it. And it's very different what you just described from like even my really close friends who aren't deep with me in the sense that like I don't have to prove anything at any time. So my relationship with people is solely value to value. If you don't bring value to my life in any way, I'm not going to give you any energy, right? Because that's not a healthy relationship, right? I have a few friends that I've given so much energy to and I haven't been received back. So that's difficult to work with, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to look in your life. Who in your life is an energy giver? Who in your life is an energy taker? And we want the energy givers because that's like attractive.
Yeah.
So that's tricky. But obviously, you shouldn't, when you give something, you shouldn't expect anything in return.
Yeah.
But if it's like a sustainable relationship, then it's like hard to work with if it's not.
Yeah. I think I'm in the same position as you. So I have 2 closest friends.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is like, I guess a little bit closer,
Yeah.
but just because we're both just so weird. So
Yeah.
like me and him just do everything together. So like if we fuck up, we do it together. We do something weird. We do something that we shouldn't be doing. We'll do it together. And I think I've been very fortunate to have him.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like they support you, and it's like not a give and take, but it's just kind of like give, take, give. And
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word take. I want to use like receive.
Yes.
So like we've never been, and for both of my like close friends, it's always been like, okay, we'll do this, then we'll do that, and then he wants to go golf, he wants to do this, and I think we've all been fortunate to kind of like have each other to lean on, to where it's like all support, and like you said, you have your one guy 3 a.m. friend. It's like you can always go to them for problems, and I think I also switched, like you said, like if someone doesn't give value and only takes from you, then like to be honest, like I never give them energy anymore. Like I don't, it takes me a while to either like get back to them. And before I used to be someone that like someone like hits me up and then I'd be like quick to reply. And now it's just like I'm just busy, so like I can't really. But I used to be someone who like would have like my ringer on for like Snapchat and like for other people. But like now it's like I only have my notifications for messages now.
Yes.
And if
Me
I'm
too,
if I'm not like working, then I'll just reply super fast. But
This is interesting. Like rich, successful people. Do you know who Dan Martell is?
yeah,
Okay, I have his coaching. I have a call with him every week. It's with a bunch of other people, so it's not anything special. But he talks about a similar thing, which is when if I'm reaching out to a girl because I'm attracted to them, and people often think that like you're really desperate if you respond like that, right? You've heard this maybe before. Same thing with friendships. Rich, successful people who are the most busy respond like that. So that's what I preach. If somebody texts me, I'm on it.
Yeah.
If somebody reaches out, I'm on it. And oftentimes people paint this illusion that they're going to be deemed as more valuable if they hide themselves from people, if they like, because it's deemed as more valuable, right? Which is like not easy to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that I've always appreciated, like quick responses, just because I hate having like a moment where you're working and then you have to pause to wait for a response. And that's something that I found that most successful people, and I think, and if not all, are quick to do.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate to the clients that I have now is they either them or someone in their team can get back to me like that. Like in one of the companies that I work for, Anthony, he's always got my back. I was actually, before this, I was on a call with him getting some stuff set up. And then for the studio here, you know, I have a ton of people to like for support, either getting in, anything that I need, I have that support. And that's been something that I think that all success just needs clear, quick communication.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then it'll just either be slower or you just can't reach that.
I want to add one more thing to the friendship stuff real quick. Is like a lot of people haven't found that person yet, but like you really know when you find them. And oftentimes it takes a minute to understand that that's the person, but when you do, like, you just know it.
Yeah.
Which is like, oftentimes I've been confused on who that person is because they kind of give some energy to me, they kind of care for me, and then they don't. And it's just some hard mesh to work with. But then when you find that guy or that girl who's like, I'm with you, ride or die, right? That's really nice. I think everybody needs that person. Yeah.
For you, this is more like just a weird question, but you said you had like your one guy, ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
For you, how has like other relationships been, like, you know, like romantic stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I see it's weird because we're young and women today are very affected by what they see, similar as we are. But I'm very old school, genuine, straight to the point with people. Like, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want in a relationship. If you can't follow those standards, then we don't have something.
Yeah.
And that's really hard for a lot of women to take in because they're maybe confused by like what attractive dude is. And oftentimes it's a guy who's not genuine. It's a guy who's doesn't follow the rules. It's a guy who's a dick, right? But which is really tricky. It's hard to work with, right? Because you want somebody to just be genuine with you, like both people are.
Yeah.
So I've had 2 solid relationships, and both of them are very like we talk about things.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how is this working? What do you want to change? Where did I mess up? And the way that couples have an 80-year relationship, an 80-year anniversary, like my grandparents, it's insane. And the way they do that is by talking about things, practicing their internal communication and their communication. Because if they're able to do that, they're able to solve anything. But it's only when people hide their emotions, let's talk about this soon. It's only when people hide their emotions where things get choppy, right?
Yeah. That's exactly. So like my first relationship, it was just because of communication. That was like the one thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it's just been like hard to commit for me because I'm terrible at if I'm focused on something, like if I'm focused on, say, like today, like this podcast, I came early, had to get some work done, had to work with the video production, I had to do, you know, a ton of stuff. If I'm focused on that, it's really hard for me to, even if, you know, you really care and like someone, to, you know, spend time or find the time to either spend time with them. And so for me, it's been like, I'm just not at the position where I should even be considering it anymore if I can't offer that. So it's been like, I try to stay away from it and almost completely.
That's interesting.
But for you, how have you looked at that? Like, how have you navigated that?
Dude, if I show you my calendar, it's blank. Like, really, there's nothing there. So that's where we have kind of a different I don't know. I don't. Is this doesn't feel like work to me. It could be, but when your work doesn't feel like work, that's when you got a good career.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. So. My calendar is. I wouldn't say I work. I don't know. I don't ever really like go on the computer and like do work.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't. It's hard for me to relate, but I have done that in the past, so it is able to relate.
Yeah.
But right now, once again, I'm taking the foot off the gas and just like, who am I? I'm just living my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that's the biggest advantage, like you mentioned, like being young, because you can, right now you can say, I'm completely taking my foot off the gas. I'm gonna take 3 years.
Yeah.
You're gonna be 21, like you're just getting started. So I think that's a great thing where like you have more than the opportunities to find yourself and still be ahead.
And so many people make it at 50.
Yeah.
Right? So many people, so many famous actors, they make it after so many failed attempts just at 50, and then like boom. Like it's not a rushed process, and it doesn't need to be.
I think my one of my favorite quotes, other than the mural one, is from Alex Hormozy. It's like produce so much or like do so much volume that it's like unreasonable for you to not like reach success.
Yeah.
And I love that because, I mean, that's the truth. Like, you get to a point where you have to succeed one way or another. And I think that's basically what I try to live off of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when once I heard that and really understood it, that's when I switched to making videos every once in a while and like not the best quality, kind of like pretty shitty, to just pumping out content. And I need to do more like you. Like, you've been posting pretty consistently. So, and I think that's something that like is important. And like if you look at Alex Hormozy stuff, he produces, hundreds of pieces of content. Like,
every week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, he just said he devotes like 3 days to just prepping and shooting. Yeah. The prep is like 2.5 days, and then half a day is shooting.
Yeah.
So it's not. I guess it's not about sheer volume and more like what's in it.
Yeah.
But do I have permission to tweak something?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go down the rabbit hole of this. Like, young men today are lost.
Yeah.
Okay? One thing that I've done in the past is shield my emotions, shield my feelings. And what that does is it loses who I am at the core. When I shy away from feeling lonely or sad or depressed, whatever the feeling is, then I'm like, it's like mixed at who I am. And recently I discovered that. And I want to work on now allowing myself to truly feel all the feelings that life has to offer. Because when I do that, I know who I am.
Yeah.
Which is really a vulnerable topic, but it needs to be heard.
Yeah.
Because so many young men have the same thing, because all the young men have always been taught to hide those emotions, right?
I think that's something that we're seeing the effects very recently, and like what's happening now. And I can't like talk about like many people close to me, or like, I guess my age range. But if you look at people who are, or kids who are like 18 to say 20, like it's very small, but you see that a lot of people aren't happy with, their looks or what they look like. And I think that that's something that has affected many young men. And you see like a lot of trends on TikTok where, sure, like it's kind of been like made into a joke, but a lot of kids are just focusing on their looks, doing some insane things, using, some weird substances where, it's altering not only like their bodies and, with chemicals, but also their minds.
Yeah. And
I've seen it like affect some people who I've been close to at some point. And before I used to think like it's not real, but then you interact with them again, and even they realize that like it's gone too far. And I think that's something that's like not really recognized because no one talks about it. But so many young men are using stuff or doing stuff behind closed doors where it's like, I don't want to say it's drugs because it's not like they're like abusing drugs, but other stuff where, steroids, peptides, which I wouldn't even say are terrible, but it's something that you haven't seen before, and it's just being mixed up to where it affects their health negatively if they don't know how to use them, and also their
is a drug?
mind.
It's their dopamine and serotonin receptors being fried. G, give me a that's G that we just realized that. That's gold. It's interesting. Like I fixed my hair before this.
Yeah.
You messed up on your parking earlier, and you made a comment. You were like, "That was some bad parking," and like why would you say that? Why would I fix my hair? It's because you're trying to perceive an identity that you're not what you are.
Yeah.
And like, I mess up on parking all the time. I just got flipped off on the way here. Okay, like we're all human, so it's so weird why people try to show others something we're not. Let's elaborate on that.
I think that's been seen so much more on social media because people just want to perceive themselves as, they have a vision of what they want to be like.
Yeah.
And then they'll just create.
The Instagram lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yachts, Dubai, private jet, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I think that it's taken over to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Because even with males, like you look at guys who, film thirst traps, like they're showing their body. A lot of them will claim natural. A lot of them will claim that like there's, like normal lighting, but they'll be literally setting up stuff to make themselves not only look better, but like they'll be wearing makeup too.
Yeah.
And I know I'm focusing a lot on looks, but it's been something that's just affecting so many like young men now that is just like messing up their health.
But that translates into in person.
Yeah.
Right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
So how does it translate into in person, and how do we understand, how do young men understand that? Because we can figure it out right now.
I think for them it's so if I guess we can say we, because I mean we're young men.
Yeah.
Before we thought that even personally that personality was the one thing that got you friends, got you girls,
Yeah.
got you relationships, but then your whole mindset has changed from social media that it's only looks.
Yeah.
And that's how you're gonna not only interact with people in the future, but also just how you interact with life. And I found that I wasn't getting views for my first videos. You can see the lighting's terrible. What I'm saying is just like weird. But then I started compensating that with good lighting, good videos. Yeah. And even when I have, like a kind of strange video, like I'm not even saying anything valuable, like I still post it as long as I look good. Because I think the way that I used to see it is that as long as you seem like you have some authority or like you know what you're doing, then people will find that as influence. But I found that that's not remotely true, and that your message and the value that you give matters more. And like you see that with,
because if not, you're a fraud.
Yeah. And not only a fraud, but also like no one's gonna listen to you, because you can have the best setup, and you can see some of my videos, but like I have a nice setup, I have great cameras, but I'm not saying anything that's like catches your attention or like you really want to watch. But you'll see people walking down the street saying some funny thing, something that's valuable, and they'll get millions of views because that's where it is. It's in the value that you can provide.
Yeah, and once again, that's authentic, right? It's just them and a camera. It's not cutting, right? It's weird. It's hard to grasp. When people are on a stage, if I was put here, right now, if we just snapped a picture and posted it, that would put us in authority, right? And I don't know. It's agreeing with what you said, but it's also disagreeing slightly. Because if I'm put on a stage, without saying a word, I'm deemed as authority, right? Because how did this guy get on a stage? He must be important. He's going to change my life. Until you open your mouth, though, that's when people can tell if you're a fraud or if you're real, right?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Or
yeah, 100%.
Okay. So the idea of like fake it till you make it is true to a degree. However, speaking, you got to walk the walk, which is something that I need to hear from me listening to this, right?
Yeah.
If all I did was listen to the things I tell other people to do, we'd just be chilling. If you listen to all the things you're telling me to do, you'd be chilling.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
I think a lot of times we know exactly what we need to do.
Yeah.
But either we just don't remember them, we know what we need to do, but we think that we are already doing it, or we just like ignore it. and like we just like
answers to most of your questions. They just haven't been extracted yet. The job of a transformational speaker is to extract your own internal answers that you have. This guy named Nick Santonastasso, all he does is just extract what we already know internally, right? That's all Michael Burnoff does. That's what the job of a transformational speaker is. It's less of like trying to inflict something on you or trying to sway an opinion of you, and more just extracting what's already in there and formulating it into an idea that you can actually use.
Yeah.
We hear this just honestly about the school system, brother. Like that's a weird thing. Honestly, about the school system, like, here's the deal. We take a little boy, we tell him to sit in his chair for 8 hours, we tell him, behave, don't move, just do your thing. And when he does move, we label that as ADHD. This kid, there's something wrong with this boy, right? And the very thing that makes that boy's curiosity drive is the very thing that we punish. Have you experienced that?
100%.
Is that
Yeah.
clear-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think one of my favorite references when it comes to school is I think that everyone is just so different. Like, I think everyone's genuinely, like, not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we're all connected as humans, but I think everyone's just extremely different. And you can't tell a dog to climb a tree and then, grade it next, like, compared to, like, a monkey. And I'm not saying that people are animals, but I guess we are too.
Well, we are, yeah.
But I think that there should be a way to not just grade to how much you can memorize, but actually, your skills. And I'm not someone who can sit down in a chair and, sit in math class. Like, I hate it. And I've been, like, told by my teachers, like, it's like you get up to go to the bathroom, like, every class. And it's like, I can't sit still. So, and I think that's something that shouldn't even be, like, questioned.
It's because you're put in an environment where you're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where your vehicle, your value isn't being valued.
Yeah.
The very thing that makes you who you are is the very thing that's being punished, right? Your ideology, is that even a word?
I think so.
Ideology to get up and recognize that, hey, I'm not supposed to be here. That very thing is what separates you from the crowd. When I was really young, I would just get up and dip, walk around the city in like third grade. I'd just leave, and they would freak out. And it's because, like, I wasn't supposed to be there. I was put in an environment where I wasn't being valued for me, right? And when we change our environment, we change our life. So I think the very thing that limits us is obviously our environment, right? You're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with. You've heard this before, yeah.
And I have a question for you. What's your perspective on opportunity? Because the way I see it is the world is so big that everyone can have their own project, they can have their own business. I think that everyone can be living happily because opportunity is everywhere. And I think that some people limit themselves because they think that one industry is completely closed, there's no opportunity for it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that? Because I think that, like I said, like, there's so much opportunity you just need to find it. Like, nothing's ever closed.
Well, gosh. You're talking a lot about like the thing itself, whatever that thing is. And I don't know what that is, but I understand, like, people to a degree. So I don't know, but I do know that, like, you are 6 connections away from anybody in the entire world. You just don't know how you're connected. Like, think of a crazy person who walks through this door. You'd be like, wow.
Like Alex Ramosi.
Okay, you're 2 connections away from him.
I think 2 or 1.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Anybody in the world. Yeah. So when it comes to opportunity, like you said, it's literally everywhere we look. But if you look around this room and all you realize is purple, you're not going to notice the green things, right? That's literally Alex Ramosi literally said that same thing, I think, in a thing. But when we, I don't know what the answer to that is, but when we keep our eyes and ears open to constantly searching for different things, that's the opening of the door.
have you ever met someone in a completely different setting that you never thought you'd see again, and then you just randomly see them at like a party? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's like the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Like not even like that crazy because it's like they're your age and you'll see them again. But I think it was for me. The first thing I thought is like how small the world is. Like,
Yeah.
Like someone that
It's crazy.
you see one time, I don't know, random.
Yeah. I mean, the world is big. It's huge. But also, like, you'll just, like you said, you'll just bump into somebody. Like, it was scary. I saw the same dude in like 4 different countries.
Really?
Yeah. and then one time I went to Arizona with him and he just like treated me to 2 conferences.
Really?
Yeah. And I stayed with him at his house and like bought me dinner, all these things. And it's like, what? Like just random coincidence,
Yeah.
same dude, all over the world. So yeah, it's so cool when that happens because it's almost like a surreal moment.
Yeah. Have you ever met like a celebrity and had like, or someone famous and had that like your real like moment? Like
I have something good for you. Can I share it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oftentimes, what we do as people, when we see somebody more successful than us, I'm going to repeat that. Oftentimes, as people, when we see somebody and we deem them as more valuable than us, we put them on what's called a pedestal. And what happens when I give somebody else my power? My power drains, right? That's where that gap kind of is. So if I look at Alex Hormozy, he's up here. If he walks through this door, I'd be shaking like a little boy, right? Hi, Alex. You know?
Yeah.
So many people do this. And that's a problem because if Alex Hormozy walked through the door and I was shaking like a little boy, Alex Hormozy wouldn't be able to get the value out of me that I am. We wouldn't be able to converse on a level because my guard is raised to the roof and his guard is down. Same goes the other way. I've deemed people as less value than me and I don't give them the time of day because there's more important things for me to do. I put them on a pedestal that's lower. So your idea of like meeting a celebrity totally happens for a lot of people. Everybody has that kind of like a gut, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're real. But then once you spend 20 seconds, your guard lowers
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, yeah.
I feel like you realize that they're like real people, and I like interacting with them. Like if I ever see any, because it makes you realize that they're humans too. Like
Yeah,
you can
dude.
look at a camera. Someone can look, surreal,
You
but
like this happened today when I saw you. It's weird. It's a cool feeling. Like, dude, you're real? I don't know. Are you? Okay. But like there's no way to really know until like you see them in person. Real meaning like humanable.
yeah,
Real not meaning like a real person, but just like you're as human as I am in the sense that like we're able to have a conversation. I'm no better than you are, you're no better than me. We're just here.
yeah,
And that's something that a lot of celebrities do and a lot of celebrities don't do. They put people on a drastic pedestal.
and I like that. I think it's always interesting.
Yeah.
Meeting people like that.
Yeah, like Dan Martell. Like I've had a few calls with him, talked one-on-one, and the first couple times I'm shaking like a little boy, right? And it was like first, maybe second time. And then now I know that he's just like a regular dude. I know his weakness. He likes peanut butter cups. If I give him peanut butter cups, he's going to do something for me. Like these little things that are just like, yeah, he's just a regular dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is weird because we have that pedestal gap that we place people on.
Yeah, that's fun. So, what's your year? Like, what's your year looked like? You're a senior in high school.
Yeah, dude, I don't really go to school, to be honest.
Do you do?
I had like 1.5 credits to finish this school year. So
Really?
I did like a 10-week program, and then I have like literally 1.5 hour class left, and I'm done.
Really?
Yeah.
Lucky.
The reason is like, it's literally the bare minimum.
Yeah.
If it were me, I would drop out probably freshman year. Like I don't go to school, but I'm probably not going to send my kids to regular school at all. I'm going to tell them, yo, what do you want to do? Okay, what do you need to do that thing? Okay, I'm here to support you. My money's my money. You're on your own. I'm
Yeah.
here to help you, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of parents like skew what their job is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to inflict their version of success that isn't the child's version of success.
Yeah.
Because both people have been exposed to two different things.
For me, it's been like hard managing it because I go to like a school that's like very like demanding with
Yeah.
classes, and I don't think I would have picked the classes that I'm taking now if you asked me again, because I think I'd had so much more time back then, but now it's just like I barely sleep. I want to keep doing the things I like to do, but at the same time it's just like I'm just so full with everything.
Yeah.
But I've started to think about like making a choice to where, because I feel like I'm half-assing my business, because I know I could do so, like I know I could like flip a switch, take it to the next level, maybe 3 levels up, but then at the same time I know I can take school and have good grades, but I feel like I'm just like in the middle to where I'm like not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So for me it's just
You're
been
stuck
like,
in this weird place. Indecisiveness is poverty thinking. Meaning the only bad decision is not making a decision. So that's a tricky place to be, right? You're skewed between two different realities of what your people want and what your people want, right? Two different groups of people all inflicting their stuff on you, and you have to pick, right?
Yeah.
And same for me. Like my whole life has been all the stuff you've been describing, which is like, do this, do this, do this, do this. And if you don't, then something needs to change.
Yeah. It's very interesting. For you, how long do you think it will take you to like find who you are? And like, how are you doing that? Because it doesn't just like come overnight. Like,
It takes internal work for sure. Like just looking at yourself and be like, damn. What it is that like, I think I'm on a good track for it. Selfishly, I think I am, because I've taken the foot off the gas, and I've recognized that money and business. This is so recent. Honestly, this is like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Money and business and working hard, grinding, like. There's a time and place for that, but I'm fortunate and super grateful that I've allowed myself to take the foot off the gas and just like really much more be conscious of who I am. So it definitely takes internal work, but the question you ask is like, how long will it take you to know who you are? I don't think it ever ends. I think I'm never going to retire, right? Retire is a bad word because you're like, retire is a really bad word. It's like dude. I feel so. It's so sad. It's so sad. Just watching somebody work a job their whole life and then dying.
Yeah.
Like it honestly makes me like want to cry for them. Like it's so sad. Especially like I've had friends who we go through a drive-through, and there's this 60-year-old woman, and they're like clowning and honking at her. And, like, that's really sad.
Yeah.
Because, like, those are the people I'm surrounding myself with. That's horrible. That's literally, like, the worst. That's a horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
And, man, yeah.
I think that's definitely. I think it's so normalized that, like, to me and you, it's just, like, that's terrible. Like, I hate that.
Yeah.
But to someone else, it's just, like, that's
whatever.
Life. Yeah, like, that's life. But I think that's like my worst. I won't even say nightmare, but like I don't even like, to me, I don't know if you see it this way, but to me there's no other option. Like I'm never gonna work a job like that.
Well, to me, it's a guarantee. It's already set in stone. Like there's no reality, and people might think this is delusional. There's no reality that I don't get what it is I'm saying I'm gonna get or what I want to get. There's absolutely no reality, and that takes internal stubbornness, right? And that sounds really selfish and like whatever, but that's what you got to do, I think.
100%. but I think it's like a fun road. I think that's
So
I
fun,
think that's
dude.
the best part about entrepreneurship, because you can just like you can fuck up, you can do whatever you want,
Yeah.
and like you can do a million things. Like
This shit's good.
Yeah,
like life is just, damn.
like it's fun. Like you're not sitting around just doing
Yeah.
whatever. And like you said, like I would definitely pick, and like I had to make the decision too, like very recently. Like my whole, I guess basically my life changed, 3-4 months ago when I decided to like leave my weekend job, go full on marketing. Like completely changed. I think even as a person I've changed, but
Yeah.
I think that's a decision you have to make. But it's so much fun. Like before you're working, you had that experience, to now you're your own personal brand. You're doing some of the work. You're doing marketing. Like you're doing some like.
And I'm lucky to help like a few other people do that.
Yeah.
Like taking a dude who is literally working at a restaurant job, showing him a super simple business model that's hard to mess up, window cleaning, and now he's making like 14 G's a month.
Yeah.
Working for Zump, and he's living it up. So like that's the dream right there, is just like doing it more. But the dream never ends, because our box is always expanding of what's cool, right? And just like the sun analogy, I normalize whatever's I'm exposed to really quickly, right?
Yeah.
If you get a sports car, it's old after 2 days, right? Yeah.
Do you know if you ever want to have like that lifestyle with like, sports car? Like, do you ever imagine that for yourself?
100%. Yes. Because one, realistically, because that's what people have told me is successful, and I believe it, and I've fallen for the trap if it is a trap, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad trap to be in.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm okay with that. And yeah, I want a really sexy car. I want a really cool house. I want to fly. I want to charter a jet. I want to live the life to like so full, but I also want to go be lost in the jungle for like 2 years. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd literally be like a life story. Like I'm going to Peru, and my literally objective is to like get lost in the Amazon with my jungle hat. Like that's fun. Like that's more impactful than like having some money. But I also think, like, I literally talked about this with my uncle yesterday. Like, everybody's told me that, like, save. Like you're saying, I spend 20, I save this, whatever. Sorry, I don't mean to say whatever, because that's something.
Yeah.
But I think it's so much more valuable to have $1 million in your 20s than $100 billion in your 60s.
Yeah.
And I've told that to a few people, and they're like, whoa, not at all. You should just put it in the 401k or whatever. But once again, like it's so much more valuable because of the fact that you get to buy experiences and not things.
And so you're talking about how you want to travel, and you're already doing it, going to Peru.
Damn.
But what's like long term? Do you have any goals to either give back or a mission? Because I think my mission at the end of the day is to give back to like the Hispanic community, because
Yeah.
I've been just genuinely so blessed to have like the opportunities to get where I am now, and I just 100% want to give back, and then also to actually go back to Mexico and Peru,
Yeah.
hopefully to give back to those kids, because they're not as nearly as fortunate as us.
Yeah.
So do you have any goals like that?
That is the goal, as many people state it as. But I do think that like everything we do, whether it's for someone else, is for a self-benefit. In the sense that if I give you a Christmas present, I get a benefit from that. I feel better than if you gave me a Christmas present. If I donate to charity, if I save an orphanage, I feel good about myself. So I think like 100% that is the goal of giving back to people. But for me, that is the goal, period. But also is I was put on this earth to make a really big dent. Similar to that, but also I want to create an army of people. I'm here to reproduce. I'm here to instill my legacy in these people so they can then go and do great things in the world. Yeah. That's what I'm here for, and I think that's what most people should be here for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with that. I totally overcomplicated that whole thing, but I could have just said yes.
But I like the explanation. Like,
yeah.
A little more deep into it. But tell me just little bit about your experiences. So what made you want to go to Peru, like specifically Peru, and like where have you been before? Like what
Yeah,
was that been like?
I've done a lot of traveling. Been very fortunate. I mean, just like play like Tanzania. I don't know. Like you could just name some countries, but more importantly about the events you go to is not for the little tips and tricks. It's more for like the people and the connections and the lifelong relationships that you make.
Yeah.
So once again, like your network is your net worth. I've been very blessed and very fortunate to meet people who are gonna take care of me. Not meaning monetarily, but just like knowing them, they exposed me to what's possible that I haven't been exposed to in the past.
Yeah.
So that's the bigger picture of like traveling and like seeing the world.
Yeah.
But once again, like me fathoming dying a while ago was really tricky. And like I didn't like the idea of it forever. It's a really long time. Like I didn't like the idea of thinking about forever. It scares me at night sometimes. And there'll be a time when I'm okay with it. And I think that time should be sooner, that I'm okay with the idea of death. But in the past, it's been like scary.
Yeah.
So, but I think like recently when I'm been exposed to like a crazy experience, like traveling the world, then you're okay with death. And like when, especially, I think that changes when you have kids, for sure.
Yeah.
Like your whole, bro, a lot changes when you have kids. I have no clue because I don't have kids, but I think it does.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
I think personally, I know like when I was younger, I think we all go through it. I think every young kid goes through it when you're like 7 or 8. Like you start thinking about death and you're like scared. Like you just want to cry.
You shoot up in bed. You're like,
Yeah. That exact moment.
dude, yeah, that's real.
But I think I've become more comfortable with it as I've started giving every day my all, and like doing exactly what I want to do.
That's impressive as heck.
Like I think the best days when you're the happiest is just because you've given it everything that you have, and I think that's why people run marathons. I think that's why they, do things that they want to, because that's what brings them fulfillment. And I think like if you went and traveled the world and someone said, okay, you're dying now, I don't think if you had all those experiences and met all those people that you'd be like damn, you'd be like, I got to
yes,
see the world.
I'm ready. Yeah.
I got to see the world. So I think that's,
and especially if you made a dent, and if you made, I say dent. I say dent to my friend, and he's always confused.
like an impact, right?
An impact, yeah. And especially if you have kids, dude.
Yeah.
Like I want a lot of kids. I want like 12.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'll adopt like most of them.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I want an army of like, just like good people to like change something. Yeah. I think it's really cool. And then like you'll just be okay, because you'll know that. Oh, I think your perspective of death changes when you're working on something that's greater than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very true. Because you have people relying on you. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's actually a question that, because of what you just said. So, right now, if I completely stop working, I stop replying to all clients, like, who cares? Like, I messed them over, like, boohoo. But if you had your window cleaning business and you stop replying to everyone, then you have your employees. You had 7 employees at one point. I don't know if you were feeding their families. But,
yeah.
But how did that feel, where it's up to you
Dude,
to pay them?
I'm not gonna work for me, really. That's a lie. What I just said, that's a lie. Okay, I'm sorry. But I'm not gonna work as hard for me as I can if there's other people relying on me. So I only win if they win. They only win if I win. My job is to feed them with money and jobs. And if I don't, then they're screwed. And they have car payments and they have bill payments. So they're cooked, right? So when you have that sense of pressure or responsibility, it forces you have no other option to work. When it's just you, when it's a one-man gig, you can slack off for a year,
Yeah.
right? But when there's people relying on you, when there's bills that need to be paid, you can't really do that.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because you wouldn't work as hard otherwise.
Yeah. Because I haven't experienced that yet personally,
Mm-hmm.
but that's something I've heard where, like, it gets to a point where like it's you feel uneasy
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't perform, then, you know, people have families to feed,
Yeah.
and especially like when you mentioned like you had people who are older than you working for you, so
Yeah, it sets this weird dynamic just extinctionally that's like, I'm not going to listen to you because I'm supposed to be your authority. And extinctionally, this is how it is.
Yeah.
We automatically look up to people older than us and are like, yes, sir, right?
Yeah.
It's just how, that's how the universe was, I guess, crafted necessarily, I guess. But when you flip the script, that's where it gets sticky.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever used? I might have asked this already, but being young to your advantage, not in like I can mess up, like boohoo,
Yeah.
but like literally like I'm young.
In like a pitch.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
100%.
know.
Like all the time. I literally say, I'm like when you're young and when you say you're young, what do people's shoulders do?
yeah,
Right? Okay, you're a kid, whatever. So yeah, if I knock on a door, I'm like, hey, just go to like Roosevelt High School right down the street. Do you know Sally? And I'll literally like walk. And I don't really make that deep eye contact. I won't ask for permission. I'll just do the thing. I'm going to take you to the problem. We're just doing something cool for her. I'll just kind of show you real quick. Doing this.
yeah,
And yeah, the whole process, the whole cell cycle, their guard's already dropped from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Except when they open the door, I'm honestly walking away because what happens to their guard? It goes down. They're like, okay, you're going away. And then I'll turn around and just like stand to the side. Hey, they see my face. I'm young. Yeah, it definitely helps so much. If you're a 40-year-old dude knocking on a door,
yeah.
that's hard. That's real hard. You're going to get a lot of it. Yeah.
I've liked it with cold calling because obviously you know like when you knock on someone's door, you know your voice goes high pitch.
Yeah.
And you know you're automatically a lot more happy. But when I'll do cold calls, like my voice is high pitched and people like don't automatically hang up the phone. That's been a big benefit for me because I see that.
Oh, that's great. Do you say your age?
I did in the beginning. So what happened was I did it in the beginning, and then my mentor said, "Use your age," and he really pushed that. And then now I just say like I'm just young, but I haven't really done a lot of cold calls anymore because I haven't found the quality
Yeah.
of clients that I'm looking for.
Cold calling is tricky. Never really. Actually, yeah, that's all I've been doing for the past like 2 months though.
Cold calling.
Yeah, for the lighting is
Mm.
it's not cold actually. It's hot calling because they fill out a form on an ad that says, "Hey, I want lighting, maybe," and then we call them. So it's not cold.
So you're
outreach.
running Facebook ads or
Yeah,
Instagram
Meta ads. Yep.
ads.
Yeah, so both. And then I don't know if we do Google. Probably not.
What's your cost on per lead?
Oh gosh, it's like $30.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot.
Yeah,
Very
but keep in mind these are like $6,000 jobs.
That's fair.
So maybe it's, I don't know.
Depends, but I mean I haven't looked at it. at
Yeah,
all.
I'm bad at that stuff. Like I don't really care about these things right now.
Yeah.
Like I really, and it's hard for my business partner to like collaborate with, and I get it because like that's not where my focus is at. He's trying to run a business with me 50-50 and my focus isn't there. That's really hard to work with for him, and that's on me.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like I just have to, I've told him straight up like, yo, here's where my priorities are, and it's just like okay, and we're living in this kind of fluff space where it's like
Yeah.
I care but I really don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that been working with like
Yeah, well,
partner.
once again, the priorities are very different. Like, I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't have a reason to do it. I'm just working, I guess, for experience. But it's really shit margins. We've lost money. I mean, yeah, it's bad. But it's fun experience.
Yeah.
And it's like stressful. This year I've become addicted with stress. In the sense that like, dude, that shit fires me up.
Yeah.
Like this right now, this like just talking to people fires me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really exciting. When we allow stress to actually give us a positive result.
Yeah. But always be careful. Like I was like in the same position where I was just like more,
Yeah.
more. But then I like burned out. I'm lucky it was only like half a week, but like I literally got sick. Like
Yeah.
as if I was
dude,
like
yeah, me
it felt
too.
like I had like the flu or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like it didn't obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it was like my wake up call to like
Chill.
yeah, like do what you need, but don't like throw extra things on your plate
Yeah.
because it's just like you don't need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten like sick. I actually collapsed. Well, because it's like door knocking, so it's like
Yeah.
out in the summer heat. But yeah,
Really.
yeah, it's hot. But I get what you mean. Like where the money is such a motivator that you don't care about like you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was like a big wake up call for me.
Yeah.
It was.
It's interesting. In my friend group, we associate a lot of things with like a cost of a burrito. So a burrito is normally like $10. So it's just that's our math. It's like burrito math, kind of. It's like what is a day's worth in burritos? Yeah, so that's nice.
Sick. And so could you tell me more about like the light business that you have? Like you were talking about like the margins and
Yeah,
about that, 'cause you
margins
said-
are shit because material costs a lot, independent contractor costs a lot, and then insurance costs a lot, and then after all of that, we split it 50-50. Honestly, one window cleaning job is like more than I've made in all the lighting we've done, which is horrible because a lighting job is $6,000, and
That's what I was wondering about.
and a
'cause-
window job is like $350-$450.
because I'm just curious. Because you said so $6,000 job. Do you do it yourself or do you hire out?
We subcontract it out.
Oh, so that's why the
Yeah.
margins are.
Yeah.
Got you.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't clean windows. I didn't touch a window really, which is really good.
Yeah.
So I'm just like sitting there.
Mhm.
That's a good feeling when you can like sleep and you're making money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it only happens if there's people who need to be fed.
Yeah. It's very true.
Very hungry. Yeah. Like I had a sales rep this year who sold a lot more than me
Yeah.
because he just like worked more. He's great. And the fact that he's working for me is like, that's great.
Is that for the light
No, that's for windows.
or windows?
Dude, y'all, window cleaning, damn. It's like, it's kind of overpowered. It's hard to beat what I've seen. It's better than a software company.
Yeah.
It's doing really well, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Basically my whole life, even now, like my dad's company is like property, stuff like that. So like window cleaning, pressure washing,
Oh, really?
basically like management.
Yeah.
But it's on the commercial, like properties. Like I ran some ads for him, for like junk removal for like hauling because it's also what they do, but for like bigger properties. And it was actually harder to do a house one than a property one, but the cost per lead was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And you can't even get like a big commercial deal through like an ad. Like it's just not known. You have to like go
Yeah.
directly to the managers. But that's something that I found interesting about like how you were able to do it
Yeah.
to where like it works out well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't really touch commercial just because if you break down all the expenses and honestly the price of a job per window and time, it's not that crazy compared to residential. Because also they know their competitors, they know what a good deal is,
Yeah.
and there's also like a homeowner you can really charge whatever they're willing to pay.
Yeah.
Which varies a lot. The same 20 window house might be $200 in one neighborhood, it might be $600 in another.
Yeah.
Just by noticing like, okay, what car is there? What house is it? What neighborhood is it?
Yeah.
Which could be really chopped, you know?
Yeah.
Could be a really sleazy thing to do, but I don't know.
I think it's just part of it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do that. Like, that's why insurance are like, have you gotten other quotes? Yeah.
But it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I found that fascinating how you know you have sales reps
Mm-hmm.
and like finding consistent jobs to keep it profitable. Like that's very impressive.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. It's all about selling the dream.
Yeah.
Sell if you're able to show them what's possible, you can take anybody from anything to anywhere.
Yeah.
Because the anywhere is what they want.